dog, but we also want to talk about the aspect of you're going to be with a lot of family members, probably some new faces for your dog, or maybe some other dogs too. So do you have any advice for people?
Definitely. There are some things that are very important to think about when keeping your pet safe during the holidays. You're going to have a lot of friends and family coming over, so you want to make sure to keep them a few things. One thing we see a lot on the holidays is ingestion of medications that the pet isn't otherwise normally exposed to. So if family and friends come over, stay over, and maybe they drop some medication or leave their medication in a purse that then the dog gets access to, and then the pet has a toxicity. So making sure to ask all friends and relatives who are visiting to keep their medications appropriately stored out of reach of pets and children too. But that is something that people don't really think about, and I think is really important. When we have a lot of new visitors and friends coming over, family, it's a potentially high anxiety time for dogs. So there's some things you can do to prepare your pet for that. Create a little safe space for them, make them a little safe place in your bedroom or in a room away from all the visitors and the hubbub. If your dog has a lot of anxiety, you could do a ThunderShirt to help decrease anxiety. If you know family's coming and your dog has anxiety, you could talk with your regular vet about some anti-anxiety medication and starting that before the family comes over, so you know how your pet reacts to it and how much you need to give them. With the doors opening and closing a lot, we want to make sure that we have proper identification on the pets in case they slip out, right? You want to make sure you have your proper collar and tag and a microchip on your pet in case they do slip out, they can be returned to you safely. Those are some really important tips for pet safety. Another thing too that people often have is commingling of dogs, right? So family brings new dogs over, and you have a new dog coming into a household where a dog is already living. So there may be some territorial issues, and keeping those dogs separate if they don't know each other during that time of all that excitement and people and food and stimulus, keeping them separate is probably going to be the best choice for avoiding altercations. So those are some tips.
Yeah, I could imagine there would be a lot going on. We're getting some questions in. The first one is, can dogs choke on bouncy balls?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially depending on the size of the dog. If it's a bigger dog, they might swallow them and it could get stuck in the esophagus or the intestinal tract. And then you're looking at endoscopy or surgical removal. If it's a smaller dog, it could actually get stuck in the airway and actually cause asphyxiation or choking. So keeping those small balls out of reach is really important.
And going back to kind of like the food topic, what we were talking about earlier, what about diabetic dogs? Somebody wanted to know what their diabetic dog can eat.
Yeah, that's a really good question. If your dog has a known medical problem, be it diabetes or pancreatitis, intestinal sensitivities, the safest thing is to just stick with their regular food and give them, if you want to give them a treat, give them a treat of their regular food. They'll still think it's a treat, right? But if you are looking for something different, you could do some veggies, like some steamed green beans, steamed vegetables. Those are really healthy and really safe. Those are the things I would recommend. And if it's a little bit of lean meat, that would be okay as well. But I wouldn't deviate too much, especially with diabetes, because it can be really hard to regulate those blood sugars.
Yeah, but you also want all dogs, even if they have diabetes, to be able to feel like that they're part of Thanksgiving too.
Yep, absolutely.
So here's a more specific question. A viewer has a part Bichon and part Lhasa, I believe. Is that how you pronounce it? Okay. And her skin is so dry and itchy. She scratches all the time. She does not have fleas. What can I do to help her with this skin condition?
So it may just be dry skin, dry, itchy skin. I've got that myself right now. My hands are all chapped from the winter or the colder temperatures. So if it is just dry skin, you can try some soothing shampoo and conditioner, and then something called relief spray, which is a nice moisturizer, and it has some soothing qualities to it too, to decrease itching in the skin. But some good moisturizing conditioner might be just the trick. However, making sure your pet doesn't have allergies is also really important, because it may be allergies and other issues causing dry skin. So making sure those allergies are not contributing to the itching is really important.
And this next question actually kind of ties in with that, because I know sometimes vets prescribe wet food to dogs with allergies. I know ours has been in the past. So how do you get your dog to eat wet food that's been prescribed to them?
Oh, so it sounds like they don't like the taste of the food. There are different brands of food that have prescription diets for the same problem, and different brands may taste different to that pet, or there may be a preference. So if your pet doesn't like the particular prescription food that they've been prescribed by your veterinarian, and they need it for their particular issue, talk to your regular vet about trying a different brand. There are so many brands out there now that you can get the same diet, but it might be a different flavor, a different formulation that is more palatable. So that's the first thing I would try.
Awesome. Okay, can I give my dog toast, eggs, bacon, and bacon strips treats? They get a whole breakfast meal.
I know. Sounds pretty good to me. Let's see, toast, eggs, bacon, and bacon strips. Yes, toast. Yes, eggs, bacon, a little bit, and bacon strips. Yeah, a little bit on those too. So I think it's all fine. It's all about proportion and quantity and the size of your dog. Like if you give Bichon, a whole strip of bacon, that's going to be potentially bad news. If you give your 180-pound Great Dane a whole a whole strip of bacon, it might not be as bad. So thinking portion control is really important.
Yeah, just like humans. All right. Thank you,
Yeah.
Dr. Gebhardt. We are going to have more questions.